Good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching this. I hope you are having a lovely day, but welcome back to the vlogs. Currently a Saturday, so for me it is a training day today. It is a leg day. I am just having my coffee out on our balcony because it is actually some half decent weather today in the UK, which doesn't happen too often. I'm hoping now that it also looks like I'm naked, but I'm not. I have got a hold now, can't just before I get to monetize or something. But yeah, obviously good weather doesn't happen that often in the UK, but now we're in May. I'm hoping that it's coming. I'm hoping that it's gonna stay, and this is it now, starting of summer. So just enjoying, yeah, some fresh air out on the balcony before eating brekkie and heading off to my leg day. But today I am going to take you through a full day of eating because I love a full day of eating. I am really nosy. I love to see what everyone eats in a day, and obviously at the moment I am nearly, so come tomorrow I will be a month into prep. So what I am currently eating a month into prep. There hasn't actually been any nutritional changes since starting prep. There has been added like expenditure, so expenditure has gone up, but in terms of food changes there hasn't been any since the initial changes that were made going into prep. Right guys, so pre-workout meal that is going in, same every time. It is 100 grams of egg whites, 1 egg, 80 grams of sourdough, Jason's, if you don't know, get to know because that is the best sourdough, 2 turkey rashers, and 100 grams of veg, which I choose to be mushrooms and tomatoes because, yeah, it just goes with the egg. Like, it's amazing. If you don't love mushrooms, I don't get you. I know they're a bit controversial, but I love a mushroom. And then there is 1 gram of pink Himalayan salt on there too. And if you are wanting a massive supply of salt, so you're not having to go to the shops constantly, do recommend that you do up a trip to Costco because they have a massive tub there. And now I don't think we're going to need to go and get salt for probably about a year. But this is meal 1, and I will catch you when meal 2 comes along. I thought I would run you guys through my legs free session. It is primarily glute and hamstring focused, and I start off by doing 3 sets on the abductor machine. I do 1 set that is more of a heavier set, then I do a medium weight set, and then I drop the weight and do quite a high rep set for my 3rd set on this. My top tip is to really pull yourself into the chair here. You can see that I am using straps to actually keep myself in the seat. I like doing the abductor first because it just warms up my glutes before I then move on to my compound movements for the session. I then move on to my belt squat RDL. I really like this variation of an RDL because it really forces you to push your hips back, which essentially is going to get us more muscle stimulus when it comes to engaging the glutes and hamstrings. I do 2 sets on this, so I do 1 set which is slightly heavier and a lower rep set, so typically that will be 7 to 9 reps, and then I aim for a slightly lighter set and I will look to do about 10 to 14 reps there. I then move on to belt squat, just do my little dance, get myself nice and comfy. I do this for 2 sets. So again, my first set is higher weight and lower reps, so a 7 to 9. And then my back off set is a lower weight, and I then perform that for 10 to 14 reps. But this is my 2nd squat movement of my week. So on Mondays when I do my leg 1, I actually do a Smith squat. And then I do the belt squat on my leg 3 day, which I really enjoy. I find it's just, I can engage so well with my legs on it. There's kind of no back engagement there. And the way that I perform it is very much more so glute and hamstring dominant by pushing my hips back. Obviously, quad gets engaged, especially when
especially when we are at the bottom of the movement. But the way that I perform it is so that it is more glute and hamstring dominant. I then move on to Smith hip thrust, which is my second hip thrust variation of the week, as I actually do barbell on my legs too, which I do on Wednesdays. On the Smith, I do 2 sets of hip thrust. So my first set again is a higher weight with a lower rep range, and then I will drop the weight to do a higher rep range on here. Need Harry's help always for my top set because it is really heavy, and I definitely need his help in unracking and re-racking. On this movement, I do use the wooden blocks just to give me a little bit more range of motion. When you come to the top of the movement, you want your knees to sit directly above your ankles. You also want to think about hinging on your lats on the bench. That's how I would look to set it up, and keeping a nice tight core throughout the movement. You will see that at the back end here, I just go into some partials to, finish on an absolute booty burner. Then I move on to single leg extension. I do leg extension during my lower one as well, but it's just a bit of added volume to my quads here. Quads has been something that I've wanted to develop quite a lot over this off season, and hopefully I will see some improvements in my quads when I get on stage this year versus 2024. So it has been an area of development, but I do this for 2 sets. So 1 set of 12 to 15 and then a second set of 15 to 20. So not too high in terms of weight on this movement. And then finishing off the session, I do single leg press just for the 1 set of 10 to 14. My biggest tip, and this goes for any sort of single leg movement, whether it's upper or lower, make sure you are doing your weaker leg or arm, whatever body part it is, first, because obviously you then want to match that on your second set with your stronger leg, arm, whatever body part it is, so that you don't get any imbalances within your physique. When you set yourself up on this movement, you want to make sure you are right at the bottom so that you can have the most range of movement possible. I have also added some foam blocks and a yoga mat just to also help with that as well. But there you have it. That is my full leg day 3.
Now back from leg day, and for post-workout I have got 115 grams of sourdough. I also have, I think it's 32 grams of whey protein, which is the Perform cookie dough flavor, which is really good, and then 32 grams of jam altogether. So I pop some on the sourdough, but then also add a little bit into the whey as well, just to sweeten it a little bit. And then also have 1 gram of salt with this meal as well. Nice and tasty, and very much looking forward to it, because I have definitely worked for it. Right, so meal 3 for the day is 125 grams of potato, 100 grams of 5% beef, and then 100 grams of veg of choice, 1 gram of salt, some tomato ketchup, low salt, and then also some mustard. I find that this meal tastes a little bit like, almost, it has burger vibes to it. Obviously it doesn't have a burger bun, but I quite like it with the potatoes. I do sort of swap about, to be honest, between, obviously pre-workout and post-workout stays the same, but sometimes I will swap my meat sources between if I want to have beef and rice that day, or if I want to have chicken and potato that day. So you can maybe guess what my 4th meal of the day might be, because I've got my beef now. But yeah, I sort of switch between the two, and at the moment I'm just on my potatoes with beef. Veg wise with this meal I have lettuce, gherkins, which gherkins taste so good with beef. If you don't have that, I would definitely recommend. Mushrooms and red onion, and then it just goes really well with the mustard and tomato ketchup. As I say, it kind of gives like an American style meal. So that is my meal free of the day. Also, I just realised I forgot to say, but within that meal, I also have 3 grams of oil as well, which I just use to basically fry up my potatoes with. I put them in the air fryer, and they end up good anyway if you didn't have oil on them. But I quite like using it as my fat sauce to then crisp them up more, because they do just taste that little bit better with that added. I use extra virgin olive oil on them. So that is a top tip. If you want your potatoes to be nice and crisp from the air fryer, add a little bit of oil to them. So my meal 4 is just finishing off cooking, but we went out into Bracknell for a bit, and my favourite shop at the moment is Mango. Like, I literally love Mango. It is beating Zara for me at the moment. I'm in my kind of like preppy era. I'm saying goodbye to the crop tops, although we love the crop tops in the gym, outside of the gym, starting to wave goodbye. So I got this really nice top for anyone that's kind of, this camera, more into like the fashionista side of things. It's really nice. I don't know if the camera's picking up the colour quite correctly, but it's this green knitted top, and I thought it'd be a little bit see-through when I put it on, but it actually isn't. Like, so I can wear it to work and wear it with like cutesy jeans for, you know, the coffee shop dates, all of that sort of stuff. And then I also picked up from Primark one of these seam-free sets, which I already have a few of them. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have a black one somewhere, but I've just lost it, and it is nice to just have a little refresh. So expect to see my check-in in that tomorrow. At some point I would really love to get a proper posing suit, and I do feel like I've been doing this long enough now where I probably could justify one, but they're just a lot of money, considering like this is £6. £6. You can't go wrong. £6. You can't go wrong with that. Compared to more like £100. So that, yeah, it's nice to have a refresh, and they are just so cheap, so good, and you can just wear them comfy around the house anyway. So yeah, I thought I would show you those bits, but I am just about to get my veg off, and I will show you my meal 4. Meal 4 is keeping it simple. We've got 115 grams of chicken with a bit of chicken seasoning on top. We've then got 100 grams of veg, which I've chosen to have like broccoli and peas, and then 55 grams of basmati rice. That's weighed dry. And then some sweet chili. It's like sugar. What do we call it? It's like a reduced sugar sweet chili. This is so good. Like, I love this. If I don't have this, I will then have like the Nando's, like the tall bottles of the sauces that you get when you actually go to the Nando's restaurants. That's really good. Like, if you're having cold chicken and rice, which I tend to pick as my like cold meal if I'm having to go into work, or I'll pick like my pasta meal on a rest day, depending on what day it is. Because my work doesn't have a microwave, which is slightly annoying, but we work around it, and we still have nice tasting meals. And I think, you know, yes, it's just chicken and rice, I guess, but we've got a nice bit of seasoning on there. We've got some nice vegetables with it. It's a tasty meal. Sometimes the most simple meals just get the job done, and I enjoy eating it. It's really tasty. And if you haven't got yourself a rice cooker yet, what are you doing? Get one, because I wish we had got one so much sooner. Saves so much time. So yeah, chicken and rice, literally put your chicken in the air fryer, put your rice on in the rice cooker. You don't even have to do anything. It is so simple, quick and easy. So no excuses, guys, for sticking on plan. Right, you can probably tell from my blue light glasses, PJs are on. It is time for the final meal of the day. And of course, if you know me, you know this is my favourite meal of the day. And I honestly, diet, off season, whatever time of the year it is, I always look forward to it. And I just don't think anything can ever beat it, really. So let me show you how today's oat bowl, because that is what we've got, turned out. She is in all her glory. So in this oat bowl, we had 80 grams of oats, 80 grams of raspberries, 30 grams of whey protein, which is my favourite sticky toffee pudding from before. It's amazing. Would definitely recommend as, yeah, a go-to protein. I then also have 10 grams of chocolate and 15 grams of peanut butter. Plans for the rest of the evening is to eat this in bed, enjoy, watch the boxing, and then get some R&R. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.